Dave here, how are you? Today is the 24th of January 2021. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope that everyone who's watching Cole, stay with him and finish his show, then come back over here and watch mine. It's going to be hard to kind of pick up on the pair of us at the one time. So for those that aren't in the know, Cole Hosey is the guy who owns Gifkins dovetail jig, and we're going to be doing a little bit of stuff in a follow-on from what he did working on this box, which is dovetailed, and I'm going to put the slot in it, I'm going to put the feet on it, and to do that I discovered I needed to have a router table extension because it's not long enough. Vid and audio all good. Don't forget social media. I have just done the social media before I came on. Excellent. Now today on the show, let's have a look here. Michael Jamison's new machines as he heads into retirement. Isn't that a fun thing to do for everyone? Hi Dave, finally getting to see your show live. Well, there you go, Joe. Thanks for dropping in. Derek Lark's new table saw sled that utilises both miter slots in his table saw, but for different purposes. Very, very interesting. Kiwi 007's sawmill, and we've seen some stuff of his before, but he's gone in and shown me a bit more detail this time, so that'll be interesting to have a look at as well. I'm going to do the router table fence extension, and if time allows, a revision on how I cut melamine on my table saw, which is a single blade. There is no scribing blade underneath on this table saw, and I'm going to show you how I do it, and I get a pretty decent edge from it as well. Hi from Scotland. G'day Dale, how are you? Johnny from Texas, and David Cash, morning from the Bahamas. We're coming in from all over the world. How about I show you Michael Jamison's stuff first off. Now also you'll notice there's no flicker in the camera this week. The reason being I've managed to get the computer up closer to it while I'm working down this end of the workshop, because this is the table we're going to be using. I'm going to be using my trim router in here. And so I'm reading down the side here and I got caught a little bit. Yeah, we're going to have a look at Michael's stuff first. Why not? So this is Michael's CNC table ready for the machine to arrive. He says this is the start of my CNC venture, a stand for an Axiom AR8 Pro due mid-February. Retirement, CNC Gifkins dovetail jig and Carbotech planer jointer. Does life get any better? Cheers. So this is the box when you picked it up, backed it into the garage. There it is, set up as a thickness planer, and he's been working on some timber there. He's going to make a bench for the local men's shed. How cool is that? That's pretty nice. Come back to here. I love this kind of stuff. Send stuff in to me if you're doing a project or if you've got a new machine. But I don't care if it's Carbotech or Woodmaster or whoever. If you've bought it, you've obviously done your research for it, and it's yours and you enjoy it. So send some photos in to me. I'll throw them up here. Okay, Ted, how are you? And good morning, John. And John. That's not a problem, John. I love to share the love. Why not? Why not? All right, let's get into this fence to start with. I'll move this out of the way. Now, because the box that I'm making is a large box, it's much longer than this little fence here. So I'm making a fence over here, and I'll bring it into the frame. We'll move this coffee out of the way. She's been warm here lately, I'll tell you what. Summer has decided to say hello. It's joining us quickly. Now, I'm making this up as an angle. Actually, it's a piece of T-section, really. So I've got plywood on one side, 15mm ply, and I'm screwing it to a piece of 16mm thick melamine coated particle board. Now, to do that, I thought I'd just show you how I do it. It's very easy. I'm going to do a couple more screws here first. This is just a hole that I've drilled with a 1/8 bit in a countersink cover. I'll go to the other camera. You might see it better that way when I find the mouse. Can't get through there. I couldn't see it from under. Let's go to the other camera. All right. So this is it here. So this is from Amana Tools, and it is a 1/8 drill and with a countersink, and with this non-marring stop. So it's all fully adjustable down here, and that's what I'm going to use, or that's what I have used so far to create, I can bring this over here. You can't see that at all. I've got drills and everything all over the place to create that hole there. And it does a great job. But I'm not going to stop there because I'm going into end grain particle board, if there is such a thing. Going into the side of particle board sheet is a whole lot more invasive to the sheet than going through the face. If you go through the face of a sheet of particle board, it's all good. So I'm going to use a 2.5mm drill bit. I don't know if you can see that there. It's 2.5mm. You have to believe me because it's too small to be able to actually put the calipers on and show you. All right, so that's the hole. I'm going in about another 45mm. And the reason I've done that is because I'm going to put another screw in there, and I've got to actually find the screw. I've left it over there. It's a little bit of a thing for beginners. Don't just try going to reef it in. In the old days when I made cabinets, I would clamp the thing together, put a few small seed nails in, like they're a 2-inch seed brad, around the carcass, and then I'd get the 2.5mm drill, and I'd drill every foot, I guess it'd be 300mm around the cabinet, and then drive the 2-inch 8-gauge screws straight in, and they go in really, really well. And that's what a lot of kitchen guys do these days. So let's just put this in. Done. How nice is that? I feel like some kind of guy out of Westworld. Your Brinner. All right, now I can undo these clamps. I've set this up so, move that over there. I've set this up so it's going to sit over the top perfectly. It's going to kind of rest on it. I'm going to drill a couple of holes through this into that, and then we're going to put the cutter in, and we're going to drag the fence back over the cutter very carefully and slowly. And it will work, even though I haven't done it with this one. I've done it with others before. It's basically going to be the same way as using the Gifkins jig. You use the template to carry the piece of timber over. This is going to be my template here because the fence is actually locked into these T-slots, T-tracks that I put here. So there we go. I have my fence, which is now 4 feet long, and there's the piece of particle board on the back. Now I've put that on there to stiffen it, to make it dead straight. Because that piece of ply had a bit of a woof. Not wolf as in the dog. Oh, talking about the dog. Can't believe it. She's a funny thing. What she did was, she was in here. I had to get her out of the workshop because she was behind me, and when she gets anxious and wants something, if she wants food or whatever, she gets her paws up and just bounces off me. Now the problem was, it was right at the back of my knee. You know when you come up behind someone when you're a kid and you go like that behind their knee and they go like that? When you're using a router, not a good idea. Okay, I'm going to move a couple of these things out of the way, and we'll load the drill up with that Amana bit that I was just talking about. And spin that around. Turn it on to high speed. Okay. I'm going to bring this forward and lock it so I can see where it is. And I'm going to switch to the other camera so you can see what's happening. Okay, so that's the center of where this is going. I'm going to drop that over it. Bring this around to here. Like so. Now this screw I put dead center. So I know where I'm at. I'm going to check. Now that I've set it, I better check. Okay, so that's 645 and 645, close enough. That's close enough to being center for me. So now that it's there, I'm going to drill here and here. Do you see that stop when I was drilling? How cool is that? Take that out and put the screwdriver back in. Put this over here. Just got to make sure I leave myself room everywhere to do things. Beautiful, back to 2. Drop that back to about 6. All right. Now that I have that drilled there, I'm going to run this in. And into this one. Allowing the flutes to clear. If you don't pull the drill back out and push it back in again, the flutes will jam full of rubbish. And next thing you know, you're going to be upset because it's going to be burning everywhere. Couple of screws. Drop one already. Good on you. There we go. Okay. On magnetic, of course, I haven't got the driver head in here, so I need to put it into there a little bit and get that other screw. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? Okay. I'm going to drive the screw so it's just protruding, and that'll line me up. There we go. With the holes that I've put in here. There. Cool. Now that's substantial. The trick, of course, is to be able to undo the clamps from under there. Maybe I should have put some little recesses in there, but that's okay. All good. Now I can slide this backwards and forwards. I can't move it sideways too much, so if I drag this back over the cutter while it's spinning, I'm going to have a lot of control. But what I'll do is I'll hold it down at this end, so my palm of my hand is actually in contact, and I'll pivot like that, and I'll have a whole lot more control. All right. YouTube, I never know what size drill to use for a pilot hole for screws. What is the rule that you use? Well, in Australia, we have a different system of screw diameter to a lot of the other places in the world. So for me, I use an 1/8 of an inch, which is 3.2 millimeter drill for the clearance hole. Even though, well, I say it's a clearance hole, it's still going to hold it a little bit. And then for the pilot hole, I use a 2.5 millimeter. Depending on what size, as in length of screw you use, if I was to use an inch screw in a door, putting hinges on a door, an inch 8, I probably, depending on the timber. See, hardwoods, I'd probably drop down to around about a 2 millimeter. Sorry, I'd probably stick at 2.5. Softwoods, I'd probably drop down to a 2 millimeter. Does that help? I'm hoping so. All right, now we need to put the trim router in here. How cool is this? I love this little setup. And to do that, what we do is, there's the switch on this particular router, and we need the switch in line with the clamp. So there's the clamp, there's the switch, make sure the clamp is open. There's a couple of spots there as well. I'm going to push it down until it goes click, like so. Pull that back, and now that I've done that, I realized I haven't put the cutter in. So I did that on purpose to show you that there's little clips here on the side, and that lets it release. Do you believe me? Okay, now the cutter I'm going to use is another Amana tool cutter. This is a 1/4 inch compression cutter. Very, very nice. I want to show you this on there. Now, why am I using a compression cutter? Now, it's not burnt. That's called spectra coating. That's a ceramic coating over the top of the carbide. This is a solid carbide cutter with a ceramic coating on it. Okay, I'll pop that into here. I'm not going to go down too deep. Oh, the other thing that you might not be aware of, ordinarily there is a K mark. Now I can see it on here. There's a K mark right there. It's extremely faint. So it's a little arrow and a line. Basically, it looks like a K sideways. That's where I've got to put it into the collet or the chuck of the trimmer. I can't go deeper or shallower. Tighten that up. And a spanner. Nice and tight. So this is a spindle lock here, so otherwise it stops it turning. Okay, so the switch and the spindle lock are in the same position on this particular trimmer. Open this up again. Drop him in. And you can see how far it's protruding. I don't want it coming out that far, so I'm going to turn this until I've come back through. Let's say I'm going to go through at 2 different depths. I'm going to go through at this depth to start, and we're going to lock that. And I need to get the dust extractor, which I'd forgotten to prepare. I'll bring it down. All right. Down we come. All right. Plug this into a power point. Should be one here somewhere. Ah. I'll plug it into that one over there. Take a bit more off the back. I have, because it's such a hot day, I have the air conditioner on in the shed today. And it's very, very comfortable in here. On. Cool. And I've dropped this down in the hole there. Hi Nello, how are you? Making sure that it's turned off when I plug it in. It's something that can be very scary. And this is going to plug into the underside. All right. Now, I'll drop this down in there. Like so. I'll put this away while I'm there. And here we go. So I can now pull that back against that. And I should be pretty safe. Because, as I say, the back behind here, I'm in T-track. They're loosened up enough to give me a little bit of movement. I might just tighten them up a touch. Not a lot. I don't want to do it so it's jamming me. That's better. I've got good movement. You see, I can't move it sideways. It's going to help me out. Okay, dust extraction hose connected under here. Lovely. And earmuffs. Earmuffs are up here. How are we doing for time? We should be fine. Okay, this is all the preparation. Now, this is something that, you know, I'm comfortable doing. If you're not up to this kind of stuff, don't try it. That's all there is to it. If you don't feel comfortable at doing anything in a workshop, don't do it. It's normally your body saying, this danger. It's a danger alert. I'm going to put this in a bit more. Got it. All good. Okay, so the cutter is in the trim router, nice and tight. I've got this secure. I'm going to hold over on this side and pull this back through it. Here we go. Slowly. I'm going to come right down to it. Now why I did that, why I moved it around a bit, I wanted to give it a bit more clearance. So as I was pulling it through, I wasn't going to be jamming anywhere. So I wanted to open it up a little bit more. Now I'm going to raise the height, and I do that under here by releasing the catch and then winding this height adjust. And I want this to be high enough for the timber that I built the box out of. And I'm only going to go just past it because I don't want to stuff up the compression cutter. With the compression cutter, it's a spiral up at the top and a spiral down for the rest of it. So that's why it's called a compression cutter. It cuts from both sides towards the middle. And what that's going to do is give me a clean edge on the top and a clean edge on the bottom. It's pretty snazzy. Okay, pushing it back out of the way, we're going to turn it back on. Everything's locked there. Just going to clean the top up. And off. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower this down to the thickness that I want in the bottom of my box. I'm going to put a slot in here. This is the same thickness. This is actually off my box. Do you want to? These are great. I'll put a link down the bottom for you, Dale. Other people might. Because I'm working in front of the router table. That's why. And this is jerry built from my Festool onto the DeWalt trimmer. So it's still enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it. This is about 20. I'm going to come in around about 6 millimeters. And I think that should be enough. So I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to hold it against there so I can see the height that I'm actually getting. I reckon about there. Okay, now here's the next part. This is going to be fun. I'll take these guys off. So I'll flip the camera to have two things, I think, just here. All right, now you can see me up in the corner up the top here. What I want to do is create a stop and a stop so that when I put the slot in, I don't go past the end of the dovetail. Now, first thing I'm going to do is take the box apart like Cole has taught us all. Go back to this one. All right, move the coffee because it might bounce around a little bit. I've put a piece of wood on here to be able to knock the box apart. So, like so. Like so. Now, I'm going to make sure that that's like so, and I'm going to, I really should have got my chalk, but I can still see all the marks. See, this C lines up with C, B lines up with B, A lines up with A, so I think we'll be good. Pins are this way. Got him. And this one. All good. Spin the camera back to, well, come back over here, I think, and up a touch. That might work for you. Now, the reason I needed to make this so long, and we'll come back to that other camera again. I don't think that is the link, Peter, somehow. I need to be able to put a stop here and slide the timber along and have a stop down here as well. If I come up a little higher again, I'm back to there. That might work. All right, easy. Next thing I need to do is set the distance from there to there. This is going to be how high up from the bottom and how far down from the top. So it'll be how far down and how far up my slots are. And I think, I'm just eyeballing this, but I think that's going to be good. I'm rocking a little bit on there. I need to tighten those screws up just a little bit more. That one's a bit loose. That's good. And again. Oh, that's a whole lot more steady. See, I'm moving the whole bench there. Okay. Beautiful. Now, a stop at this end and a stop at this end. Getting this down at this end, and I reckon if we put the stop about there. Down as low as I can, I think. And at the other end, I'm coming just past. What I'm doing is I'm sighting up so that the cutter is going to be just inside here. I don't want the cutter going all the way or stopping short. I want it so that the corner of the box's base will actually be in that joint. And that, my friends, is where it is right now. Now I'm doing this before I do the feet. The reason being, if I did the feet first, I wouldn't have as much to reference off here. At the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up and I'm going to lower it down onto the cutter and then pull it along. But before I do that, I'm going to put a stop here as well to protect me. Maybe another piece of timber. That could work. No, I don't want anything too large. Having one of those moments where I'm looking around thinking. Don't worry, I'll stop thinking and I've found it. And my push block. All right. I'll be using this on top and I'll put this here, right in front. And it should, fingers crossed, no, not fingers crossed, it will work beautifully. See that? That is good. And it's going to stop it moving. I'll check that I can go all the way through and it's going to stop there where I want it to. And my start point is also where I want it to start. You excited? Parent can highly recommend them. Excellent. We don't start it and we don't cut the outside. So as I say, all of my chalk is on the outside of the box. So I'm going to do top and bottom. Before I even start, I'm going to set all of my pieces up the right way so I don't make a mistake as I reach for the next one. Now this is going to be a little bit loud, but that's okay. Reminds me of when I was a kid, you know, put the face mask on when you jump into a swimming pool. All right, this over here, so it's ready for me. And turn the router on. I'm checking that I'm at the right height, which I am. I'll pop that in, lower it down, and then put the push block on it. I might grab another one while I'm there. Can't be too careful. You can't be too careful. Well, I guess you could, but you know, not that we're going to talk about. Here we go. Might make a bit of dust and a little bit of noise. let's have a look. There's the slot. Can you see that? It's full of waste at the moment. That's the compression cutter doing that. But the surface is super clean, both sides. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to do, what I'll do now, I think, before I go to the next stage, is I'm going to clean that out. Because what can happen is that could vibrate and lift the thing. There you go. Now you can see the slot, or the dado, whatever you want to call it, a whole lot better. Super clean. All right, we're going to do the other side now. I'm going to do legs around about 3 millimeters thick, so that's a fine depth. That'll be fine for me. All right, clean all that. Turn her over. Sorry, this is going to take a little while, so you can play patience while you're waiting. Careful as you lower it down. We're off. Stop spinning. Lift her off, and then we've got our 2 slots. Put that to the side, get the other long one. Don't make the mistake and grab the short one and go, because the stops aren't set up for it yet. Cool. That way up. Beautiful. Once you're set up, it happens pretty quickly. Flip her over, clean her out. Nice, beautiful dado, nice and clean. Hold on to it until it stops. Carl, how are you going? How'd the show go, mate? I got in there at the beginning and then I had to chuff off and get mine completed. Ready to go. Beautiful. Now we're going to relax these stops. Take them off. Bring them down. And we're going on that side there. And I want it to come to, oh, I've got to be careful with this one. I need to make the stops bigger. The reason being, I don't have any meat here to push onto. What will I do there? I can do that. Of course I can. Ha! All right, so I'm going to release this one. Bring this down to here. Put that on there that way around, because that's where I want it to stop going that direction. Actually, you know what? I don't even need to use a stop because I'm going all the way through. These are buried. Cole, why didn't you say that? You had a ball. Good on you. So now I can push this one straight through and then flip it around, because the way I built the box was there is no meat in there at all. So it's good. It'd be silly to stop the cutter back here. Why didn't you say anything, guys? All right, move all that out of the way. Make sure that I have all of my chalk side facing up. Otherwise, David will be a very upset person. Put the eye mask back on. This is going to be a quick, this part. Then we're going to do the legs or the feet. Alrighty, this will happen quickly. But don't get too cocky. Beautiful. I bet you the guys at Amana never thought that their drill bits would be used for this purpose. Nice drill bit, Dave. Yeah, you know what? It's great for cleaning out dados. All right, let's have a look. I'll switch the camera around back to this one. What do you reckon? You're just at the point of typing that. All right, let's have a look at one of the joints. Which one shall we put together? Remember what last week, one of my joints was a little bit tighter than the other. It's probably going to be this one, of course. No, that's fine. So I'm going to push this down so you can see it. Go back to the other camera. Back to the other camera. All right, here we go. I'll push this down. Into it. Oh, isn't that a snug fit? And look at that. Do you like that? And then out on the outside of the dovetail, I haven't pushed it closed, obviously. There you go. That's closed enough. And there's the slot right into the corner. There we go. Right, now I'm going to put some feet on it, as per the master. Don't you love these? Best jig on the market. If you haven't got one, do yourself a favour, get one. All right, now what I'm going to do is turn the camera around first so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to drag this back this way to create the feet. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We don't need that to help anymore. And I'm going to undo at the back here, and I can get my hand in there. I'm going to adjust this jig a little bit. Do you ever have that? Let me just change the camera so you're not getting... Some people would probably say that's a better view of me than the face. Anyway, have you ever had that where you've made a jig and you think to yourself, it's great, but... So I'm going to make some, I'll do some cutouts here so I can get down and do this. I'm going to keep this. All right, now I'm going to bring this back so it's around about half of the cutter exposed. I'll show you from the other side. Come down to the end here. See here, I've got, it's very hard because the cutter is that dark blue color, but it's sticking out Can you see that at all? Maybe there. You can see it there. It's sticking out about 3 millimeters. And that's going to be the depth of the legs that we do. Back about there. I'm quite happy with that. What do you reckon, Cole? About 3 millimeters? I guess it's a matter of whatever floats your boat. Why not run the boards through the router a second time to clean them out? I could do. I could do, Jim. Matthew, you're liking the show. Oh, you liked Cole's show. Good. What diameter is the cutter? It's 1/4 inch. So I'm going halfway. I'm not going full depth because I don't want to have a little curl on the bottom of the foot. I want it to be finishing straight down. Is that why you're going to ask me that, Cole? Now I need to also put some stops in here. This time, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to use this to my advantage. You know, I couldn't find a stop to set. I was going to go sideways across the whole lot. I don't want I'm going to be this way up. I don't want the foot to come out all the way past the joint. I want it to be equal. Do you get what I'm saying? This will be interesting. I'm going to put this back together again because I think this is something that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to set this up first before I do anything. Now, if I set up a stop, I'm not going to run it this way, but I'm going to look at positioning the stop back about here. So I'm thinking about putting a stop there. And I think it's going to work well. Go the other way around. All right, so the stop will be that far in here. And this one, I'm going to move it across. Okay. Doing the stops at different points. Matter of choice. Okay. Thanks, Cole. Now, making sure that I'm not going to go all the way through, which I'm not. So what's going to happen is I'm going to raise the cutter up. So it's going to cut all the way up through the full height here to start. That's my first thing I'm going to do. Now, these are not my ideas. This is me just expanding on what Cole has been showing everyone because he's such a nice guy. So that way you can see here my compression cutter. I'll bring this in closer if I can. My compression cutter is going to be cutting down at the top, and at the bottom it's going to be cutting up. So I'm going to get a really clean area here. Don't look at this because I see it is very soft and I dropped it. Okay, so I'm going to put it in there, do that, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do that and push it along. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's flip this up. Now this way, we're not going to have a stop at either end because it's going in at this point, pressing against here is going to give me my round, and then I'm going to push it along to just past halfway. Then I'm going to flip the board over and go the other direction. I'm going to do that on both of the ends of the boxes, making sure that I've got this facing that way. All right, so my face mark is pointing to the edge. I'm going to be there because that's the bottom of the box. Isn't that right, Cole? Only 34 thumbs up. Okay, you should do something about that, guys. If you like what I'm doing it for free, and it's up to you guys. If you want me to keep doing it, give me some thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the bell icon down there in that corner over there, wherever it is. And subscribe to Cole's channel as well. Check out the video description below. It's got some links and all that kind of stuff as well. Helps the show keep moving. All right, going to do this part, and we'll do the long part, and then we'll go to the viewers' projects again. We'll put it together when I finish. Now I'm holding onto it here. My fingers are on the bench and I've got a hold of it. So it's like the template again. I'm holding onto it because it grabs a little bit as you do that. I'm not going to lie. That dust extraction's working okay now. What do you reckon? Okay, that's my 2 that way. Turn this bad boy off. I'm not going to adjust the table anyway this way at all. I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. I'm going to undo the stop. Come on. Yeah, that's exactly the time that I wouldn't want the dog to kind of jump up behind my knees and tip me. Okay, that way around. And I think I'm going to come to about there. I'm going to make this section a little bit longer. As Cole said, totally up to the individual. So it's about another ½ inch longer than the other part there. All right, bring that up to there. Lock this on. Beautiful. And eye muffs again. Turn her on. On this one, I'm going to tip over the right way before I even start. So it's going to go there so I know where it is when I reach for it. And this one is also the right direction. Turn her on. That's pretty cool. I'm excited. I'll come back a little bit so you can see the end of the stop as it's going through. How's that? That's a bit better for you? And off. Now you might notice there, whilst I was doing that, there was a little bit of dust here, and I did not put my finger down there to get rid of it. I, just give it a bit of a blow with your mouth, and I'm sure there's people are going to get the benefit of not putting your finger there. While it's cutting, it just could so easily be a mistake. All right, let's put it together. I'll go to the main camera again. Where are we? That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got C and B. Let's put C and B together, which is C is this one, and B is this one, and flip it over, and A, and this is there, that's that way, there, and there. You like that? Okay, thumbs up guys, thumbs up. I'm going to get rid of this jig off here for the moment so you can have a look, because it's come up really nicely. I'm also going to do it on the mitered box. This idea that Cole had. I'll move this back out of the way. Come on. Here we go. I'll go to the other camera. We'll just go to this one. And bring this down. See that? So there's, I'm going to take it down even lower. I'm probably going to create a whole lot of headache for myself further down the track if I get to do the table saw thing that I wanted to do. See the legs? And then we turn it around and you can have a look at the corner. That's come up quite nice. I like that. And you see my live edge. So the grain follows all the way round on this box. I showed you last week how to do that. Isn't that sexy? Look at that. Look at that. And this one, look at that. And this one, oh. And then the last one again, back to there. I love it. All right. Move that guy out of the way. I don't know why it's sliding, but it is. Hope that it doesn't fall down. I don't know why that's happened. There we go. Tighten it up again. Good. That's out of the way. I'm going to switch back to this camera. All right. Always use a ratchet clamp where there is danger of vibration. You like that, Dale? You've no more thumbs available. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower this cutter down out of the way. They are dangerous. If you leave them protruding, you can rub your arm against it, and that cutter would open you up like you would not believe. I'm going to also unplug it. Down we go. I'm actually going to take it out of there. It's a great thing about this little trim router table. It all works. All right, some viewers projects. Let's have a look at, I think we'll probably just get this done. That'll be it for today. We'll work on the other stuff. I am a very happy camper. You like that, Peter? Thank you. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, John. Sounds like an old woodworker. All right, so now we're going to have a look at Kiwi. So Kiwi is here, Kiwi 007. You see him on the side there. Kiwi Herbert, he says, hi Dave, took some pictures over the last few days. Again, it's woodworking of a different kind. Pick one, which is where we at. As we don't have the time to go to the beach, we have to be more creative over here, over the hills and far, far away. Sawdust has to be a substitute for the sand, but looks very much alike. Pick two. Our timber work is straightforward. First we cut some slabs and then we cut them into 150 by 150 beams. Now that's straight up and down that chainsaw. Pick three. To do so we use the medium-sized track saw, as in a Stihl 660. Looks a bit different from the Festool one. This track is just a length of abused MDF with some angled aluminium attached to it. Using the saw this way makes sure you get a lot of sand in your face, hair, shirt, etc. Okay, pick four shows the main track saw combination, which is two Stihl 880s to create the big slabs. The twins still hate shifting those slabs and make for a disturbed sight at times. So I'm going to give you a close-up of that. Now that is a chainsaw mill with two heads on it. So it's got a motor at either end of the bar. These are a specialized thinking bar, or specialized produce bar, I'm guessing, with one continual chain that runs between them. I don't know how you go starting them up. Is there a decompression lever or anything on the secondary chainsaw at all, or does it just freewheel until you fire it up? Because remember, you've got to pull start these things. It's not just electric ignition at both ends. Yeah, think once, unplug twice. Okay. Now the next thing, where are we? Back to this one. So that's pretty cool. As I say, if you've got things like Herbert there, send it in to me and I will show people. I have never seen a twin chainsaw before. I reckon that's pretty cool. All right, the next one, of course, is Derek. This might be the last one for today. Send them in, as I say, people are doing it all the time. Derek Lark has sent some photos in of a table saw sled that he's making. Now this one, he says, "Hi Dave, this is a new crosscut sled I built, inspired by my mate Warwick Finch, master box maker. I think he adapted a few designs he found on the internet, and one in particular. The difference is it only has one runner, and you can move it from one miter slot to the other. So at the moment, that's a standard sled with a cut in the middle, and the runner is in the left-hand miter slot. Now what you do is you pick the thing up and you move it across, and now it's designed for when you've got your saw tipped over to 45 degrees. That's pretty cool. So one runner gives you 90-degree cut and the other 45-degree cut. That is so clever. I made it from Baltic birch 18mm ply. What a joy to use after all the MDF projects I've done. The silver T-track, which is in the bottom, which is a little bit deeper, I think, than what I normally use. But anyway, the silver T-track is held down with your recommended Euro screws, but I had to shorten them a little, hence the jig to do some metal removal using the Sorby Pro Edge as a linisher. It is a handy tool. The stop block, let me go back. I'll show you the picture of the things after it's been over the Sorby. And then we go back to maybe the first one. That stop block there is by Kate Moses, one of two that Warwick imported and gifted to me. It is very simple to use with the best micro adjust I've used to date. This will primarily be used for dimensioning timber for box making. I'm very happy with the result. Well, that's bloody excellent. I like it. Okay, I'm going to read down here again. Got to go, Cole. All right. Both have decompression and they're started one after the other while idling. Good. Both chainsaws require two operators. I get that. I get that. I thought they might. 1 minute to 12. Thanks everyone for dropping by. And I was going to do some stuff with the Jessam table saw clear cut guides that actually push down. And I was going to show you, because I'm doing more stuff for Vecchio at the moment, building more cabinets. And I was going to show you what a really, really decent cut I get out of the one blade. And there's no scribing blade underneath. It really comes up well. Now the other thing is I have produced a new video. It will be released tomorrow morning Australian time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time at 6 o'clock. So that's my window to try and catch as many people around the world, because Australia and New Zealand, of course, and England, the UK, and the States, around about 6 o'clock, everyone's awake. Well, the early risers are. So that is on how to calibrate the TSO parallel guides for the track saw setup. It's something that I've done to show you how to calibrate even if your splinter guard is stuffed, because TSO have shown you how to do it working off the splinter guard. And as a lot of people say, there's a whole gap. My splinter guard runs between 1 millimeter to maybe 0.5 millimeter along. Not good enough for me to be able to do it. So I show you the way that I do it. It's a really handy video. It's only about 8 minutes long. See if you watch for it and catch it in the morning or evening, whatever time it is for you guys. It's hot, and I hope it's not going to get too much hotter during the week. Let me come down to, where are we? This one here. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Thank you to all my patrons. We'll have the Patreon chat in a minute. If you want to join in, go to my Patreon page and slide down about 6 or 7 posts, and you'll see there's the Zoom link right there. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other, and I shall see you next week. Bye.